went up, did terrible, watched it. I was like, wow. Because in preparation, I wrote like 30 pages of material, like single spaced.
And you were all stoked. You're like, this is
I
gonna
was like,
fucking
this is
kill.
gonna be good. I don't know which of these gyms to do.
Yeah.
They're all golden.
Yeah.
And then I get up
They're
there.
only giving me 3 minutes? No way.
I was like, hey, do you think you give me some extra time? I got some really good stuff I'm
really
sitting
good
on
stuff
here.
here, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It was so bad that it was enough for me to know that everything that I had written wouldn't work.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, I still do those jokes.
Yeah, I thought like this whole thing, I had like this big ass table. I had like multiple cameras. I was going to do like switcher and all that stuff. But it's a small space.
Yeah.
And so I bought all the equipment, and then I realized I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just sent everything back, and we're just going to stick to the basics. And yeah, here we are.
This looks great, man. This is very impressive.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Got your swag back there?
Yeah, it's the Babaco Core Studio.
Nice.
So yeah, I got to start producing other people's podcasts and get this thing up and running. Try to build a network. Try to get the name out there for me and anybody who does podcast here and stuff. So yeah, but we're doing the Pat Out of Hell podcast.
Very good.
Today, and I've changed it up a little bit. It's all the same. Pretty much what we're gonna do is vent about stuff that makes life a living hell.
Sure.
I enjoy other people's negativity. I think it's fake when everybody's like, oh, everything's great.
Yeah.
I have no problems with nothing. I enjoy it because I know that's not true.
Yeah.
For sure not for me. So I feel I bond with people over negative stuff.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming out, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm stoked. I'm getting more and more excited. I was a little bit, what's the word? Just kind of shocked. Like, wow, this is really a little intimidated.
Was that too much? Should I let you like acclimate first before I just go into it like we're already starting?
No, this is about right.
Yeah,
this is about right.
I'm not good with foreplay.
Yeah, well,
I'm mostly like, let's fucking go.
There's a little bit of a Weinstein feel here, a little bit.
A little bit, right?
But I'm getting a little bit.
They're gonna clean that up there. They come later on. I had to put the lot, and that you signed a release. That's what you signed up there up front.
Yeah.
I make everybody sign the release. It's for insurance purposes. They asked me to do it. I'll save it.
Yeah.
Too. I'll post it up. Like a memorial thing, not memorial thing, but like a keepsake type of thing.
I feel very uncomfortable.
Good, man. Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, because I go through life very uncomfortable with everything. So this is my safe space.
Right.
I don't care how you feel.
Okay. Well, coming across a little rapey. This
is great for me. Why'd you have to say that word?
We match again.
I know, dude.
We need to start. Whenever we're doing a show or something, I need to just pick a different shirt.
Well, I've been wearing a lot of black lately. I got a good deal. I found these shirts. I like these shirts. They're prescribed by my doctor.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I have like 32 of them. I'm on a subscription.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm very serious. Fresh. Well, I'm not going to say it because they're not sponsored. But yeah, I get 3 shirts, black shirts, every 3 months.
Is there something special about them? Or?
Yeah, just the cut of them, man. Like they fit me good. I don't look so fat. Like other shirts that I have, they all like shrink weird. They start boxing up.
But why'd you say it was prescribed by your doctor?
Because I'm a comic, and that was a joke.
Oh, I didn't get it.
I'm not a good comic. I'm not a good comic.
No, but that's great though. I like that idea because I have I have a weirdly long torso.
Yeah.
And so like even this shirt, it fits better.
Yeah.
But it's like if I bend over, I'm showing some crack.
Nah. So yeah, these are a little bit longer. They cover up my belly. I could reach up and not a problem, and all that stuff. But yeah, and also I think it's a good thing to help people remember me.
The black shirt.
Yeah, just the same stuff. Black hat, black shirt, jeans. big dick. I like the consistency, so people know. Oh, I remember that dick.
Yeah.
So and also like I would have problems like when I wore like a band shirt or
Sure.
something, like before I even get in my set, people were like, "Oh, I like that band," or something, or "I don't like that band," or "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have time to explain my wardrobe.
Yeah.
My wardrobe. So yeah, man. If you keep it simple, you can't. Nobody bothers you about what is this for? What does that mean? And
I've
all
always
that
been a
stuff.
fan of just wearing a T-shirt.
Very, very simple.
Yeah, it's simple. One is if I have a bunch of T-shirts that are like black or gray, I don't really have to think about it. I can just grab one, put it on.
Yeah.
But also the distraction thing you mentioned, like you wear something and then you're trying to do a set. Somebody's like, "Oh, are you from Kerrville?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, it's just a shirt."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're wearing I used to wear Seahawks hats or Mariners hats, and people go like, "Seahawks." I was like, "We don't have time. I know it was Cowboys, whatever. We don't have time." So yeah, just keep it simple, and that's my vibe. Why are we talking about? Oh, because we're matching. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're matching.
It's fine, man. I mean,
It's good shit.
there's enough black for everybody.
Yeah,
it works for
nothing
everybody.
wrong.
It's slimming, I think.
Lemon?
It's slimming.
Slimming. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that you're a big guy,
I mean,
so you're just stolen valor type of thing.
stolen valor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. You could say that.
Yeah. I'm trying my best to like make you feel more comfortable.
It's working.
But it's cool.
working.
You do a lot of podcasts?
No, I think the only other one I've ever done was Jacob, and he had basically just his phone set up, and we just talked.
So the camera kind of makes it a little bit much.
The camera's different. I mean, I don't mind it. Just kind of getting used to it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the camera, it's nice to have. They call it like a confidence monitor. You
Yeah.
like see it. That's very good.
Yeah, I just put it up there so like people know where they are in the frame and stuff. But it is very distracting. Like, a lot of people will talk to that rather than talk to the camera.
Right.
And it just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I see. So you want to, if you're going to look, you look up there.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Look at the
makes sense.
camera. Yeah. These are new cameras. You've never seen a camera before?
I've seen cameras, yeah.
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 You're like, oh, so you look at that. That's usually how camera works.
I don't know. Like, yeah, the tendency, though, would be to look at the screen. To look at yourself on the screen. But yeah, I guess there's a
we're
little screen up
narcissists.
there. That's probably true.
We're narcissists.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We like ourselves too much, or we hate ourselves too much that we like ourselves a lot. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
No.
not really. But
Do you have a lot of mirrors in your house?
not a lot. In fact, we really didn't have any. There's one in the bathroom, right? So, like when I'm getting ready, I'll look in the mirror in the bathroom. My wife wanted to get, like a bigger one so she could see the rest of her body, I guess.
Yeah. I guess my question was, do you get distracted by mirrors a lot?
No, I don't think so.
When you see, like, when you walk by like a window, like a reflective window, do you check yourself out?
I would say probably. I mean, the thing about mirrors is I don't want to necessarily see myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather listen to like an audio of something that I said than a video. Because if I see myself, I'm like, why are you slouching?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you comb your hair? Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you really need to wear that?
It's a natural thing. Like, I guess, well, for me, I thought it was everybody, but I can't help but look at myself. I don't have a lot of mirrors because I will spend a lot of time looking at myself.
Yeah.
I don't like myself a lot, but I do look at myself in the mirrors quite a little bit too much.
Maybe
reflections is too much too.
Do you have enough to do at home, or?
No. That's why I have like 15 podcasts.
That's good.
So I don't look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just all over the place already.
That's fine.
We start trying to make you feel comfortable. This camera's a little bit much, but you're here, and we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it, Jeremy Jonas, the plugs, social media. What do you got coming up? This will probably come out. What's today? Thursday. Probably it'll come out next Thursday. So whatever you got coming out that week.
I'm not sure. I think there's a show, Rough House Brewing, I think in November. I think it's November 10th in San Marcos.
Oh, yeah, man. I like that. I got a good tape from that one. I think they're doing it outside, though, right? Is it outside now?
I'm not sure. I don't I don't know any details.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
The Jack Schultz.
Jack Schultz. Yep.
Damn,
Yep.
I do that every time with that guy. I always interchange Jake and Jack for all. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, and then there's a show. I think it's Veterans Day weekend. Has that already passed? I should know this.
You should know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had never, honestly,
Because I don't know it.
Memorial Day, Veterans Day, I can't tell you when they are. I should know. I mean, I was in the Army, but I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like when you're in the Army, you never get those days off.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean anything.
It's not your celebration.
No.
It's everybody else's.
Yeah.
For you.
Sure. No, but there's another show in Hemisphere Park on a Saturday. I think it's a holiday week. I think it might be Veterans Day weekend.
In Hemisphere Park?
I think so.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it's
Is it like a festival thing or
it's
an outdoor?
part of the Gary. I know the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How'd you get the? Oh, because you're
Veteran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they put out a call to like the veterans and so they just round up whoever they can, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So you don't know when that is, though.
I could look on my phone.
I mean, it's
is that
fine.
cheating? No, we don't have so. No, it's coming up.
It's your plug.
It'll be on my Instagram, the Jeremy Jonas.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Jeremy Jonas.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for coming out. We've been trying to do this for a while. How's things going with you in comedy, dude? Like, you're pretty new.
I'm pretty new. I've been doing it for about a year and a half. I feel like it's going where it's supposed to. I feel like I saw this quote one time, and it was like, if you're doing something, you're growing, it should feel good a third of the time. It should feel really bad a third of the time, and a third of the time, it's like, a wash.
A third.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah.
Inside jokes. All right, we're doing good.
But I feel that's where I am. You know, like I feel like I'll do something, I'll feel really good about it, I'll feel really confident, and then I'll go do a show and do the same thing, and it'll go very badly.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just how it goes.
And how long you been doing it?
About a year and a half.
Oh, so you're
I'm
you're
a
good,
baby.
man.
I'm a comedy baby.
What do you expect?
No, I mean this is.
You expect to be killing every night?
That's why I said I think I'm where I should be at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's.
Do you think you have a healthy outlook on your comedy career?
I think that what really helps me is being older, because I don't.
That helps you?
It helps me.
Okay.
It helps me maintain a perspective, because like when I bomb, I'm still going home to my house with my family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so there's that.
So not really the age, but just like what you have in life.
That, but also the knowing who I am. You know what I mean? So it's like I did this set one time, and I just did so bad. I'd been playing the piano, and it had gone well every point up to them, and it was like a real conservative crowd, and I told kind of an off-color joke, and it was one of those things where it's like people like kind of turn away as you're walking out. You know?
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Where was this at?
New Braunfels.
Yeah. Silver Spoon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a comedy competition
Oh,
hosted by
okay.
Jeremy Brown.
Yeah.
And I kind of, no excuses. I just went out there. I should have read the crowd better.
Yeah.
I told a joke, and as soon as they started turning, I like sort of had another joke that I normally could tell to kind of get out of it, but I doubled down on it and just tanked it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was just like, blah. It was like I was just barely saying my jokes under my breath. Like I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. And but I guess what I'm saying is like I think I have enough life experiences where I don't. It sucks. It feels really bad, but I don't feel like that's who I am, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you're in it, but you're not. It's not like your whole life, like it would be for some younger people, I guess.
I guess what I'm saying is I know that you're supposed to not be good
Okay.
at this point. And so, when you pretty much everybody does comedy, right? You watch documentaries, you listen to interviews, and you hear about, I like to watch this interview. Louis C.K. was talking about how even still, when he starts a new bit and he goes and he does it, how bad it makes him feel. He starts sweating. He loses credibility with the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if this guy loses credibility with an audience, and I'm doing a joke that I wrote a month ago and it's not going well, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still you.
It still sucks. It doesn't feel good.
Like, just because somebody else who has been doing it for 20 years longer and has, Netflix and credits and all this stuff, just because they feel it too doesn't mean that it still doesn't hurt when it happens to you.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. It hurts. It sucks. But I think that I'm like, okay, I need to go back and do it again and work on it.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it just means like I'm not going to quit as easily. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I suck at this. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. What made you don't do the piano anymore, do you?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
I usually do it when it depends on the venue, and it depends on, it doesn't seem to work for larger venues as well because it's more cumbersome. You have to have like a separate microphone almost.
Okay.
And then it also kind of depends on the other material that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because it's like kind of mostly one-liners, and so, yeah.
What made you want to start bringing the piano on stage?
I just like playing the piano. I just thought it'd be fun.
I mean, is it like a safety net type of thing? Does it relax you to do your bits?
I think there is certain material that lends itself to the piano. Like, for example, I feel a little bit weird getting up there and just rhythmically spouting off one-liners,
Yeah.
But if I do it with a piano, it's you almost expect a little bit of absurdity. So, and then once I started doing it and it was going well, then it became a safety net. And then I was like, I need to stop doing this because I'm relying on this too much, right? And then, another comedian had said, hey, if you do the piano too much, you're not going to have like a real tight five.
Yeah.
And I could see he was right. And so I'll bring it out like maybe, I don't know. I don't want to forget how to do it. You know what I mean? And so I don't, I'll do it maybe like a fifth of the time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you said you're older. You started comedy a little bit late.
Yeah.
What made you want to start when you did start?
I think it's that feeling that, so one thing is I've always been like wanted to be a writer. You know what I mean? If at some point I wanted to be a real serious writer, and I was doing these like writers workshops, and people are reading it and they're giving me the feedback. It's like, well, this part's okay, but then you're like telling a joke. Like, what are you doing? Are you writing a serious story or like fiction? Or are you writing jokes? And
like funny characters, or like, what do you mean by jokes?
like I would have a character in the story like tell a joke. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't fit. It's just like I need some comedic relief, but I think the reason I really started doing it was I just, I think there's this feeling that there was a part of me that I wasn't in touch with anymore, like from when I was younger and I was really into theater and I had creative friends, and then I lost that when I went in the military.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, I'm like, this isn't, I don't know. I just felt like I had to play this role when I was in the Army, and I
like be more hardcore. You couldn't take yourself.
I was playing a role.
Couldn't be silly.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Really?
I was playing a role, and couldn't be silly. Didn't be like creative in the infantry. You know what I mean? Like,
but even like let loose, like you didn't party hard in the military, like most
I
military.
binge drank.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and
but not for fun. Well, because some people like binge drink and to get silly, to be fun, and some people drink for the opposite.
Yeah, no, I was drinking mostly to, I think, blow off steam, and like I would just get so worked up. I would just want to get shit-faced drunk.
Yeah.
I just want to get blackout drunk
Yeah.
because it was like pressing a hard reset. Then I'd go back to work Monday morning, and it's like, I don't remember what I was worried about.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It always seemed to be fun when I was doing it, and then I felt better afterwards. It sounds like an advertisement for binge drinking. I swear it's a bad thing.
I mean, like, yeah, I had that problem too. You know, like
Yeah.
I would drink the whole weekend just because, you know, I wanted to have fun. I wanted to relax. And then I just wanted like to like maybe tap into like the angry person or like release some like built up stress that I had.
Well,
you
the
know?
thing about, you know, being in the Army, at least the group I was, the humor was very, very dark.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really feel like I needed, like, I wasn't putting on a friendly persona. It was just the opposite. It was a lot of like, you know, just fuck your face, you know, just whatever, you know, really dark. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do you is that still your humor? Do you still have that dark humor?
I think I have a tendency to be dark,
Yeah.
and I think when I got out of the Army and I transitioned into medicine, that was a huge learning curve because apparently a lot of the stuff that was just humor before in medicine's considered a red flag.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just go around saying stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and so there was a adjustment there, but yeah, I think I have a tendency to be really super critical, and so I have to always sort of like regulate that. I mean, you see, like I'd been away for a while, and then last night I went back and I was like lashing out at people, but funny.
Yeah. No, it was funny. I never
Yeah.
thought like, you know, we do this like writing session. It's a group of us, and you know, we put in our input every now and then. And yeah, like you were very vocal about what people were bringing out.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I also do the same thing though.
Yeah,
so,
you do. But it's good. It's good.
And I think what you weren't talking shit just to talk shit.
No.
You were it was helpful.
This is kind of like people talk about like the New York mentality and like the Southern mentality.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I actually prefer like a New Yorker who's going to immediately call you on your shit. Like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, because how much passive aggressive can you handle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just tell me what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't really help. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to just kind of like, okay, we're just not going to talk about this. We're going to avoid it. You know,
Right.
we're not going to make a big deal about it. But if you're in a writing session like this, why not be brutally honest or ask the questions that you want answered?
Right.
You know, and some people like don't think that way or take it the wrong way, but also we're trying to like really dig when it comes to like writing sessions.
Yeah.
For even though it is comedy, we do ask like questions about like, why is this that, why is this, and we want like a serious response comedically.
Yeah, and, you know, and part of the whole thing is you got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just in life, but especially in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if your buddies aren't telling you it in a writing session, you're going to learn it eventually from the audience.
Yeah, you're really not doing anybody favors
No.
by being nice to them. But I do see you as a nice person. I think.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
That's such a, you know, I guess I don't like to intentionally get people riled up. I'm talking about day-to-day life. Like
Yeah.
when you're doing a set and you're like, I'm going to say stuff that's going to get people angry, and I don't really care because I'm going for an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, I don't like kill, you know, insects for fun.
Insects for fun?
I don't know. I don't torture animals.
Well, animals is different than insects. I mean, like I don't know. You don't feel like certain like satisfying like
You know, I saw a cockroach one time.
Yeah.
I turned on a light and I saw the cockroach scurrying underneath the table. And as I was going to kill it, I could. It would just kept changing directions. I thought, man, that cockroach really wants to live.
Yeah, it deserves. Yeah, okay.
And then I sort of felt bad.
In the house, I mean, they no mercy. Outside, you're outside, dude. Go.
Right.
Be on your way.
Yeah, yeah. If I can, I'll usher
Shoo.
something else. Yeah,
Shoo.
yeah. Just go on your way.
Yeah.
Live your life, buddy.
What do you think about being tough in the comedy scene? Because you said like you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but to other comics, do you?
Yeah. So to me, that's more about avoiding drama.
Okay.
Because there are people that aren't good. You know what I mean? Objectively aren't good.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that not like I'm the arbiter of, you know, who's good and not.
Yeah.
But when you hear somebody who consistently like alienates the audience and people don't laugh, but am I going to go give them feedback on their set? Absolutely not.
No.
I don't want, no. Who wants that responsibility? If it was like, you know, my family member or something, I'd say, hey, man, maybe try, I don't know, try something else, or, you know, get another hobby. But, like, but am I going to tell somebody who's like just, and, you know, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Maybe you don't get it, but other people do.
Maybe, yeah. But no, I mean, I told one guy one thing one time, and I regretted it. And this was fairly recently.
Really?
Oh shit! Am I getting in trouble with this?
You don't have to name names, but like.
Well, basically, there was a joke. He's gonna know, but that's fine because we've talked about it extensively. There was a joke that when he told me, I said, "Wow, I feel really uncomfortable as you're telling me this joke."
Damn.
And also, I just don't think it's funny. If it was funny, then I still would have felt uncomfortable, but I would have been more okay with it.
Yeah.
So he told me about a joke, and then like a month later, we were on a show together, and he went up right before me, and he had a great set. He was really doing good. Just had the room in stitches, and then he ended on that joke.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer of the show, who was also the host, looked at me and says, "Are you going to tell him, or do I need to tell him?" And I said, "I don't know. Maybe we need to both tell him." So I went up after him, and then so afterwards I just said, "Hey man, I'm just saying if you tell that joke, I mean I know the guy who books the show. He said he's not going to book you anymore if you tell this joke."
Yeah.
Like he'd asked me before, "Hey, why isn't anybody booking me?" And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe look at some of your material choices." I didn't say that. Anyway, I just sort of said, "Hey man, maybe don't do that joke anymore," and then I walk out of an open mic like 2 days later. "Hey, I hear you're telling this guy not to do jokes." I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got out.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one that people think is an asshole.
Does that happen to you?
I know that there's people that don't like me, which is fine, because I'm very opinionated,
Yeah.
and people know.
It's natural to be, you know what I mean? About your craft. You have opinions.
But it's all of ours. It belongs to all of us. And all I'm saying is like I just want, like a stronger scene, I don't want anybody to quit.
Right.
I just want them to, have a higher standard of themselves.
Well, if they're part of our writing group, right?
Yeah.
And we're all there to get feedback.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I'm going to say anything to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm just out doing shows, doing open mics, if somebody comes up to me, I'll give them, and they say, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah.
I'll give them input. I'll just, caveat, well, for me, I think maybe, but as a matter of just saying things to people, like, no, I'm not going to, because who,
Yeah.
it's like walking up to a stranger being like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't wear that dress." Like you would do that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, you think it.
you might be doing them a favor.
Yeah.
But, they don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that stuff. So before the military, did you ever consider starting comedy, doing comedy before that?
I did. So I just did theater. And
What kind of theater?
so this sounds kind of lame, but I had an agent. So what happened was and the school that I went to, they had a real strong like theater program. And one day, this guy came to our class. He said, "We're auditioning for this thing," and so we all auditioned. And I ended up being on the public access channel for this special like teaching, like for kids transitioning from elementary to middle school, like telling them what to expect. It was like this whole thing. It was like shot over 3 days.
Really?
Yeah. And so then somebody, I guess somebody was like, "Hey, we know this guy. He's an agent." So went over there and then did like a commercial for some oil company. It was weird. Like I didn't do anything. I was just like changing the oil.
What age was this?
I was in middle school, so it must have been like 13.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, Astroworld, I did this thing for Astroworld. I got ripped off, dude. I'm still upset about this.
Like a commercial?
Well, they said it was for their internal, you know how like when you sit there, like you're in the rides or you're in line, and they have the closed circuit TVs?
Yeah.
It was for that. And so for that deal, first of all, it was a lot of fun. Like I'm like 13. I show up, the other kids seemed a little bit older. And for 2 days, all we did was go on rides, play games, and eat food.
Yeah.
And then I got a check for it, and I'm thinking, I'm going to make some money. It's like $11
for all that?
for like 2 days of work.
Damn.
And I was like, how's that possible? And apparently all the food they were giving us, they were charging us the theme park prices. Yeah.
Who was your manager at the time?
I don't know. It was, oh gosh. It's funny. I don't remember the name of because the agent I think was a woman, and her assistant's name was Mel Love. Yeah. But anyway, I think that was the last thing I did.
So I mean, so theater was just like a young...
No, so theater in high school, basically we had an elective, and every year I did improv. Is all I did. So you got into commercials in middle school, and then theater was just a high school thing? Theater was just high school, like musicals and,
You sing?
Dracula, Do I sing?
Yeah.
I can sing actually pretty decently.
Yeah.
I'm not like
Well, enough to be in musicals.
Yeah, I can sing it. I mean, I can carry a tune, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very modest, huh?
I mean, I don't like singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't say, do you like it? I said, can you?
Yeah, I can sing.
There you go.
Yeah. I guess that wasn't so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem very uneasy about that.
I've always had a weird thing about singing. I don't like singing.
I'm not singing. I guess, is it just the singing, or is it being positive about yourself?
I think I don't like being positive about myself.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't.
Always? Has it always been like that?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where do you think? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I think it's one of these things where it's like, I think maybe it's an introvert thing.
Uh-huh.
I think somebody told me one time, it's like, wow, I had no idea you were 6'2". You look like when you walk into a room, you just try to disappear.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Because I think, I don't really know why. I think it's draining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there are some situations.
What's draining? The attention?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you go on stage every night.
Yeah. I heard some other comedian talking about this, and what he was saying is, but that's very controlled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can go and interact and feel connected with a bunch of people all at once, get my little dopamine fix, and then go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I get that too, and it's funny, like, because I'm not transitioning, but I work from home, and then I go to the office once or twice a week. And today I had to do that. And when I go to work, I go in, I clock in, I stay at my desk. I'll go, walk around. I'm by myself all the time.
Yeah.
I don't really talk to a lot of people. And so people notice that. Like, oh, you don't talk much. If they realized that I got up on stage and did comedy every night, they'd be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Why did I get into that?
Well, we were talking about the being uncomfortable with attention.
Oh, because so getting on stage, that's a control thing. Like that's your thing to do to put upon yourself.
Yeah, to me, the whole thing about going on stage always from the very beginning was I like to create things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're writing and you create things, I actually had one, I had been writing for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this day, it was like many years ago, I sat down with this like volume of stuff that I'd written. And I just like literally yelled to myself, what the fuck am I doing? Because I'm writing all this stuff and nobody's reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no feedback. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know why I'm writing.
Is it like one long novel or just different short stories?
At the time, it was very sporadic. Like I'd say, well, this is kind of an interesting idea. And I would write, it's like I would have the beginnings of a bunch of short stories.
Uh-huh.
And so at that point where I got really fed up, I'm like, I'm going to write a novel. And I wrote basically a novel, like long enough to be a novel. And I joined this writer's workshop. And as I started going through it, I realized some of the writing's good writing. Most of it isn't. And that I had spent a really long time writing a book that needed to be rewritten several times. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing with comedy is like just that process of you have an idea, let's write it down, let's go perform it, see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
It works, great. Maybe I can make it better. Maybe I can improve it. Maybe I can add it with this other thing. If it doesn't work, maybe I'll try once or twice to tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, gone.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
And I like that process so much better than writing in isolation, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
could you get a response from it? You could put your work out there and see if it works or not.
yeah, it's the immediate
rather
feedback.
than working on a whole novel that only you know about.
Yeah, and nobody ever reads.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of comedy because it's living, breathing, it's dynamic, it's there, it's I just love the process.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted to try it, and then it got to the point, it was like, because I started like in the middle of COVID, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
I was like, hey, this is actually the perfect time because nobody's out,
Were you doing the Zoom?
No, I didn't do Zoom. I went to Elbow Room.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you did live the whole time.
Yeah, I never really did Zoom.
Yeah,
I
same.
did like one like online thing, and like Zoom. I guess it was Zoom, and I just it's terrible because you don't hear people laughing or not. Like you don't have any feedback. So yeah, my first open mic, I showed up at Oak Hills on a rainy, cold night, and there was like no mic, and then I left because I'd amped myself up to get there. I was so excited.
Yeah.
So then I went to the Elbow Room, and it was interesting. A couple of homeless guys were playing pool. One of them like kind of cornered me. He was like, "Buy me a beer." I was like, "Okay."
You bought him a beer?
Yeah. And then I like avoided him the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And then went up, did terrible, watched it. I was like, wow. Because in preparation, I wrote like 30 pages of material, like single spaced.
And you were all stoked. You're like, this is
I
gonna
was like,
fucking
this is
kill.
gonna be good. I don't know which of these gyms to do.
Yeah.
They're all golden.
Yeah.
And then I get
They
up
only
there.
give me 3 minutes? No way.
I was like, hey, do you think you give me some extra time? I got some really good stuff I'm
really
sitting
good
on
stuff here, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It was so bad that it was enough for me to know that everything that I had written wouldn't work.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, I still do those jokes.
But I know they don't work.
No, I mean, part of it was just not knowing how to present it, not knowing the timing, not knowing.
There's a lot to it. Like you can't just write it. You got to know how to say it. You got to try it different ways. You got to open mic it,
Well, and I think there's a calibration too,
Yep.
know, where you think in your head it's funny, and then you write it and you're reading, like, haha, that's funny. You might even tell somebody like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then when you go, do you get any response? And if not,
It wasn't.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, man. You think the theater stuff that helped you with the stage? Because, like, for only a year, you're pretty comfortable. You have this, like, comfortable, uncomfortable kind of, like, presence, but, like, it seems, like, controlled. It seems like that's, like, the act, you
Yeah,
know?
I think that's me. I think that the theater was so long ago. I'm used to getting up in front of people and speaking,
Yeah.
but I think that I have a pretty good. I think that I'm pretty good at suppressing my uneasiness. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. Is anybody really comfortable on stage? I mean, you get more comfortable, right?
There's a few people. I mean, like, there's a few people that are very confident
Yeah.
on stage, on and off stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's people that could fake confidence. That's what I do. You know, I fake like I'm in control. I fake like I'm having a good time the whole time.
Yeah.
And it is fun, and I do want to be there, but I am not like all as comfortable as I appear.
Yeah. I think for me, it's I've just sort of resolved I'm always going to feel uneasy before.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I go up there, and once you tell the first joke and it gets a good response, then you kind of starting to loosen up a little bit. Like, all right, this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have some fun with it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day where I can feel as comfortable as like Ron White, or he's just like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I'm gonna stop in the middle of my joke with 1,000 people in a theater and take a sip of bourbon. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be that comfortable.
That's interesting. That's 20 years.
I don't have much time.
20 some odd years. You ever thought of quitting? How many times have you thought of quitting? When are you going to quit?
I've thought about quitting. Usually when I think about quitting, this is the feeling that I get. It's like every once in a while I'll write something, or I'll be on like a set, that I'm looking at material.
Yeah.
And I'll think every once in a while, this is extraordinarily stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think that all the time. I'm like, man, I have a lot of things that I could do. I mean, like
other places I could be.
I have other things like, I could be doing stuff with but I think I keep going back to it because I kind of think it's like a drug.
Yeah, for sure.
I made this connection the other day because sometimes I look back and I'm like, my life has been kind of ridiculous, and I can't really explain why I do the things that I do. But then the first time it really made sense the other day, I thought, when I'm sitting on the stairs, like at the Tiger waiting to go up, and the host comes and says, "You're next," and then you stand up, and then a light comes on, and then you feel real nervous, and then the curtains open, you walk out, you're nervous, you say the first joke, and then you kind of relax after they laugh. That's almost exactly like jumping out of an airplane in the Army.
Really?
Because you're in the back of a dark C-130,
okay,
in line, just like you are, backstage or on the stairs.
Yeah.
And the jump master comes up, he's like, stand up, hook up, and so everybody stands up, hooks up. That's you, tell them you're next. You're standing there.
Wow.
And then the light comes on. Just like the light, the light comes on for the other comedian, the light comes on, and they say, go, go, go. And you jump out, and it's like terror for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You count 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and then poof, your chute opens.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, thank God. But you're not out of the clear because you still got to fall to the ground, make sure you don't land on something. And so, but the rest of it's kind of fun. You just kind of drift in the ground.
Yeah.
Till the end.
Yeah.
And I kind of think,
that's crazy how you compare them like that, because you've done both.
yeah, it's very similar.
Wow.
And I bet you, like, chemically in your brain, it's very similar.
That's interesting, man. Because I understand that whole fear. I mean, not jumping out of a plane, but that whole the whole adrenaline, the whole rush of it.
You understand it perfectly because you've essentially done it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it feels like.
That's crazy. Like jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It doesn't hurt your knees as much.
No.
No. I mean, the stand up is a little easier on the body.
Yeah.
But then you're sleep deprived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you end up eating late at night and drinking. So.
After a set, how long does it take you to wind down?
Oh my gosh, that's a big problem.
That is a big problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because sometimes,
even just the 4-minute set, it will take a long time to just fucking wind down enough to fucking try to go to sleep.
Yeah.
At 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Now, if it's just an open mic, no problem. Who cares?
Yeah.
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 But if it's a show, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Good or bad, I try, I don't know, at least an hour. Sometimes I just don't ever sleep well.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, it takes me a while to fall asleep, to wind down, and it's really bad because my sleep schedule already is crazy. I don't get much sleep. 5 hours if I'm lucky.
On a normal basis?
Normal basis, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's what my doctor says.
Wow.
I get through. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I do drink coffee. I don't drink a lot of energy drinks, but I do drink them. Enough to like keep going through the day. And also, I like being awake.
Yeah.
I like postponing the next day as long as possible. You know what I mean?
That's a weird way to put it. I've never heard anybody say they like postponing the next day. You're not really postponing. It's still coming. It's just got to be less rested.
But if I'm asleep, it's going to come faster. And the next day is my day job.
It's almost like procrastinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for sure procrastinating. But, and also like, I'm going to mess up the person I am in the morning because I'm not sleeping. It makes the days rough. And then I keep up this schedule, and then like by Saturday I'm just zero energy.
Yeah.
Nothing. Completely tapped out.
Well, this is okay. So I'm gonna tap into the medical. So I will tell you just from my experience, that like when I've had like chronic insomnia, because I've had periods of time where I can't, I wake up at 2, I can't go back to sleep. So basically, I'll sleep like 3 or 4 hours initially, and then I'll sleep 1 hour from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is when I stop drinking, that's why I only drink 1 cup of coffee a week.
A week?
A week. And I drink like 3 cups of tea a day.
That's impossible. That's impossible, yeah.
But it's this cycle you get in where you're drinking coffee and then you don't sleep as well at night.
Yeah.
And then, so like with me, it's like I'm always drowsy. But I still sleep like 8 hours a night.
8 hours? Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to bed if I'm doing a mic or something, I might go to bed at 10:30. But dude, I don't, I'll sleep till like 7.
Yeah.
And
there'll be times like where I do get to bed early, and I'll set my alarm and it says like 9 hours. If you go to sleep right now, you'll get 9 and change hours. But
you just don't sleep, or
no, I'll go to sleep, but I'll be up at 4. Like my body just, all right, that's enough. So I'll just be lying there in bed trying to go back to sleep. Finally go back to sleep 30 minutes before the alarm goes off.
I think it's the caffeine, dude.
Yeah, I mean it could be.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's habit. I mean, I don't do sugar. I drink my
Yeah.
coffee black. I do sugar-free drinks, whatever. Which doesn't make them more healthy, but it's just not my sugar. But yeah.
Yeah, some people can do it. Like my, my wife, she drinks a coffee called Jet Fuel and Death Wish.
Damn.
Yeah, those are her brands. And she can drink so much coffee, and she can sleep more than anyone I know. Like, I don't know how she can sleep so much. It's crazy. But
women be sleeping, man.
women be sleeping.
Women be sleeping. Yeah, the wife doesn't have any problem sleeping. I'm always like jealous of her, like a little resentful.
Yeah, it makes you hate him a little bit, doesn't it? You see,
I didn't say that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, dude.
I'm awake. Why aren't you?
Oh man.
Make me some pancakes.
So do you have any stuff that you want to complain about? Anything you want to vent? Do you have a hell list?
A what list?
A hell list.
Hell list?
Shit that makes life a living hell.
Well, personally, I think a lot of my issues are just like internal brain chemistry. Like a lot of the stuff I get really angry about,
Yeah.
I think is like, okay, there's something going on with my brain.
Yeah.
Like it's like the seasons changed. I'm like low on, I don't know. But you know what has been pissing me off a lot lately?
What's that?
ADHD advertisements on TikTok.
Doesn't make any sense.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like,
They they make it worse, and then they're just like,
well, it's also like drug peddling. I think ADHD. I think we're gonna have like basically an Adderall epidemic, like we had an opioid epidemic.
yeah,
It's already there. I
it's
think.
necessary. People are so like overstimulated, and everything changes like that all the time, constantly. Of course, you have ADHD. Of course, you have you can't focus on anything.
I think there's also like people are very suggestive. Is that the right suggestible? People are very open to
Influenceable. Influencer capabilities.
yeah. They haven't they're very easily influenced.
Yeah.
And I
That's what I
think
said.
that when you have commercials and you on TikTok,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, having trouble focusing,
Yeah.
you want
Flash.
you want a better
flash.
life with a more more expensive car and
Scroll, letters,
click
pop,
here.
pop, pop, pop.
I prescribe Adderall online.
Yeah.
Like I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, man. Oh, gee, I wonder if that was always the plan. Social media is part of Big Pharma.
Yeah, man.
Let's make them
you can't
dependent.
really put it past them. I mean, let's like four lizard people that own all the industries, right?
Yeah.
So they own social media, the pharmaceuticals.
They all feed into each other.
Yeah.
We'll
I-
make them sick. You make them sicker.
I would have said that was outrageous. That was tinfoil hat stuff probably 10 years ago. But now I'm seeing that as a possibility.
Yeah, man. I mean, like as somebody who just started going to a doctor, I've got so many drugs. I've
Yeah.
gotten easy. There was a time I was trying out like antidepressants, and I just said, I think I'm sad a lot. I think I want to take something. Here.
Yeah.
No questions. No, like, how are you sleeping?
Yeah.
What's going on at home? Like, what have you been through? Any stress? What's been causing you this, that? Just write it up. Like, so quick, I've gotten like so many medications to the point where like I don't even take all of them.
Yeah.
The last time I went to go pick up some medications, I go through the drive-through, and the pharmacist, they're like, well, you're and the box is like broken, and I have really bad hearing as it is. So the pharmacist is trying to explain it, and I'm just like, what? And he's like, yeah, you don't mix this with that, or you're mixing this with that, so just be careful. So now I'm just like, well, I'm not taking any of this now.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know what you said. Don't mix what with what. I'm taking so many whats.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, you just be careful when you're mixing this and that. And yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And it's like bigger. It's like a cultural issue almost.
Yeah.
And
Because people want the fix. They want the meds.
that's the problem. Some
Yeah.
people. So the best thing that probably could happen is you go to a doctor and they sit there and they say to you, hey man, let's talk about your habits. Do you think sometimes, you're eating because you're stressed? Do you think sometimes that you're eating because maybe you're getting fast food a few times a week, but maybe if you just like made something healthy and then, partitioned it, like if they talk to you about it, it would have such a bigger impact. But the thing is, you can't, first of all, you talk to somebody, some people are like, that guy didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't prescribe me a
He didn't give
pill.
me nothing.
He didn't order an MRI.
Yeah.
He didn't put his finger in my butt. He did nothing.
Yeah.
But that's part of the problem. And the other part of the problem is like they don't have time. The doctors are like, I got to be in there in and out.
Mm-hmm.
If you just go in there and you talk to somebody, you can't bill at a level high enough to pay the you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they go in there and they just write in their note, I talked to him about stuff. The insurance company is going to come back and say, well, you can't bill at that level.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bill at the lowest level. You didn't even prescribe a medication.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor and I was like, man, I'm having chest pain sometimes. and it's mostly happening in the evenings, mostly like late at night, Fridays, and he's like, well, sounds like reflux. Here's a pill.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a GI study, but it could be cardiac. We're gonna get a scan. Ordered all this stuff, man, and then I left, and I was like, maybe I'll stop eating a whole pizza Friday night.
Yeah, dude.
And that's literally what it was.
That's all it was.
I would go on a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
I can't, like Domino's Supreme, I cannot control myself.
Yeah.
I can't stop. Mm-hmm. I can't stop, Patrick.
Yeah.
And so,
But it's so weird. Like the doctor's like, yeah, we got meds for that. We got meds for that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and there's, whatever.
No, man. I mean, it is scary because it is kind of like an easy fix. It is a faster fix.
But it's not even a fix, though. See, that's the problem. We're just like, it's like our bodies, and this is the rant, okay?
Yeah.
Our bodies are like, have evolved over like 300,000 years to tell us something. Mm-hmm. And what we're saying is, fuck you, body. I'm going to take a pill and override that symptom you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut your fucking mouth. I'm going to eat another piece of cheesecake.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, I think, sometimes with depression. Like, sometimes with depression, I think, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, my brain's just fucked. But sometimes I think, what's going on here? Am I not feeling fulfilled in what I'm doing? Am I not spending enough time on the things that I think I should? Or am I just working too much?
Yeah.
I mean, there are times I literally thought, man, I've been depressed. Oh, here's a perfect example. I thought I was depressed for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. COVID, I was breaking out in hives. I was having like anxiety, right? So I called my brother on Christmas and I said, hey man, I'm like mentally like not doing good. I'm like, I don't know how I can keep doing this. Like I'm constantly thinking, man, I can't wait to not be living anymore.
Yeah.
And I laid all this stuff on him, and I don't really normally talk to my brother that way. So I thought it was going to be really concerning to him. He was like, yeah, I hear you, man. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird reaction. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I did this last year too. It's just like he's heard it a couple years in a row.
Oh, like the holidays, you get the depression holidays.
I had forgot that I was I'd be kind of low, but then I would tank right around the end of the year.
Seasonal.
Yeah, and maybe, but what happened was, when COVID happened, basically, I stopped working. Like, not really, but like our office had to shut down. And so I would do, instead of working like, 10 hours a day, I was working like I would go to the office, but I would just sit there.
Yeah.
I would go to the office and be like, hey, let's order coffee. Let's get food. I'm going to watch Netflix. I watched Tiger
King?
Yeah. And then like after like 4 weeks of that, I was like, I feel great. I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel more rested than I ever had.
Yeah.
And so like, and I've realized that's happened to me before. Like it happened to me in the military where I was just like, one day I got up and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And my roommates found me asleep in my car with like my foot hanging out like I pulled into the driveway. I started to get out of the car. I pulled my leg out and I just like slept. I like didn't have the motivation to finish getting out of my car.
You were drunk?
No. I was just so like apathetic. I got home. We were renting a house, or 3 of us.
Yeah.
I pulled into the garage. I was like, all right. I started opening the door to get out of the car. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a nap. And I just slept with my foot hanging out with the door open.
That's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And then I realized, then I got deployed to Egypt. It was like a super easy deployment. It was before 9/11. Like we just basically would just hang out and watch for like aircraft and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. I started feeling great.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think like, hey man, just like You just need to rest.
Yeah, man. It makes a big difference. But I mean,
But you sleep 5 hours a night, so how would you know? You've never rested.
I mean, there's been times where I just doing completely nothing.
Yeah.
Still being awake, but just completely doing nothing. I get rest from that.
Yeah, but you need that sleep.
No.
And you
I mean, yeah, you're right. Yes. I don't know why I said no. I was like, no.
you're like, "No.
No, but
I
like
don't
just
need sleep."
like I've felt good just completely like doing nothing. Or maybe like
I hear what you're
napping
saying.
here and there.
Even just not
just-
working for a while.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Still being awake.
Sometimes you need that.
Watching Sopranos for the like 40th time.
Yeah.
I know what happens.
Yeah.
You know, I could rewrite it if I had had to, but like just watching something that I already know everything about, zoning out.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
Feels great.
Yeah.
And I can't sleep during the day. If the sun's out, I can't sleep.
I think nothing is my favorite thing to do.
Then sleep during the day.
No. I think that there's nothing I would rather do than nothing.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody said, "Hey, let's go," I don't know, what's an exciting thing? Let's go bungee jumping. Let's
Yeah.
go. I think maybe I'll sit in a chair and look at this bush. like a literal, like a red tip photinia, get your head out of the dirt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I really like just staring off into space.
Yeah.
I can actually do it for a long period of time.
I can too, man.
Yeah.
I can too. But it's just like sometimes I feel a little guilty. Like, man, I wasted like 45 minutes doing nothing. And then I start feeling like I left out. I've missed out on something.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have watched, that movie that everybody's talking about, or I should have done this or that. But I did nothing, and then I'll start hating the fact that I just did nothing for 45 minutes. Even though for a little bit I was like, chill. For a little bit I was like, not unhappy.
Yeah.
But then I start like giving myself or making up reasons why that I should be unhappy with that. With
Yeah.
doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, there's a fair amount of guilt, like when you're married,
Yeah.
and especially I have kids, so it's just sort of like my son will come up and be like, "Hey, you want to throw the football?" I'm like, "Can't you see I'm doing nothing?"
Oh, man.
No, I try to do that stuff, but sometimes it's like, oh God, I just want to sit here.
Yeah.
I legit like hanging out with my kids. I'm lucky that I actually like them, and I'm not just, you know what I mean? Like, because you're obligated to love them and take care of them. I'm lucky enough that my
You're
kids,
obligated to take care of them. That's it.
I actually like them as little people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You lucked out, I guess.
But sometimes, but still, sometimes you just need your own space,
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was like, get out of my room.
Yeah.
This is my one spot that you're not.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be in here. Yeah.
But you love them.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good situation.
I don't know how you feel, dude, but I feel great.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel good. This kind of picked me up a little bit.
Good, man. Because I like to like listen to other people like rant and like all their negative stuff.
Yeah.
Because not because I want you to be miserable.
Right.
But one, it makes me like realize like everybody's going through shit.
Yeah.
We're all going through shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
We're all pissed off.
Yeah.
We all don't like shit about stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff about shit.
And we were talking, like, to go back before, you're talking about like, why do you not like attention?
Yeah.
And I think part of it is so much of the shit out there is just not real shit.
Yeah.
Like I would love to walk up to somebody one day and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they'd be like, "Man, I hate all these stupid faces. My tits are sweaty.
Yeah, dude.
I got a hemorrhoid flaring." And I'd be like, "Dude, I'm there.
Yeah.
I need more fiber."
Yeah.
And one of the things, like reasons I think I won't ever quit comedy that's been so fulfilling is meeting people and having real conversations.
Yes.
Because I got in a spot where I was like, damn it, everybody I know is somebody that I work with.
Yeah.
And they're never going to tell me what they really think.
Yeah, it's not professional.
And
You don't do that in the office.
And it's the same thing with,
this weather, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, the kids, your kids' friends' parents.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what are we going to do next summer? I'm like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're going to do basketball. Maybe they're not. Are you keeping tabs? I don't give a shit what your kid's doing. You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up with that.
Yeah, dude.
If you want to tell me you watched Dahmer and then you had a weird sex dream about it, then I'm like, yeah,
let's talk about that.
I'm interested.
Yeah, dude.
But I don't, this other stuff, I mean, why are you still talking to me about this? I don't want to hear it.
I hate small talk. I want it, I want substance. I want to get, let's fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some shit that you wouldn't talk about normally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So again, I do feel good. Thank you for coming on Pat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Doing the podcast. You warmed up a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I needed a little practice. No, you didn't. I'm a very awkward person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But cool, man. Again, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff we just complained about. How can people go find you on that?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook, the Jeremy Jonas.
The Jeremy Jonas.
Yep.
And then you have a monthly show at Upstage, huh?
I do. I think the next one is November 12th. It's a Wednesday.
What is it called?
Big Bang.
Big Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's pretty good. Thank you again for coming on, dude.
Hey, thanks, dude.
All right. Laters.
But he rumbled and stumbled.